Hello and welcome. Welcome to tSQLt Live DevOps Edition. If you're looking to learn more about DevOps, data platform DevOps, or DevSecOps, you have come to the right place. In this video series, I am talking about what DevOps is, why it is important, how to get started, and also some more advanced topics. So no matter where you're at in your DevOps journey, there is going to be something for you here. Today's topic is develop locally. And what do I mean with that? Well, what do I mean with a local environment? Let's start with that. If you're doing your development, every once in a while you need, or often you need to access things that usually are hosted somewhere on a server. That might be your database, that might be your web server, or you might even develop serverless software. And I recommend that every developer has access to a copy of that locally. Now, locally does not necessarily mean on your laptop, on your workstation, but it means individual. Every developer should have access to their own. And if that is on your local environment, that is probably the most convenient version, but it doesn't necessarily have to live there. So if you are, for example, thinking about SQL Server, if you're working with Microsoft SQL Server, you can install the developer edition on your own machine and have your own database instance where you can create your own databases. If you are thinking about a web server, it isn't that difficult to install a web server like an Apache server on your local machine or a Node.js server. If you're thinking serverless, you might want to have your own subscription or something like that, resource group in Azure, maybe even your own account where you can create your own environments. But more important, there is creating your own environment, so you can have a shared subscription that you can use to create your own, say, your own Kubernetes cluster, your own serverless functions, like Azure Functions or AWS Lambda, depending on which version you are on. But you can even use software to install to run serverless functions on your own machine, like the JavaScript serverless functions you can get to work on a Node.js installation on your local machine. So why? Why do I recommend that everybody has access to their own machine? Why go through all this trouble of creating those instances, those servers on your own machine? And the reason for that is quite simple. If you're working in a shared environment, you potentially run into issues where people get in the way of each other. Like, say you introduce a bug that takes down the system. Now everybody is impacted by that and has to wait for you to fix it, to roll back whatever you did. Whereas if you're having your own environment, it's for you, you can work isolated. If you screw something up, it's impacting only you, and you can take all the time you need to fix it. There's no stress involved. It makes things like that easier. Also, which is part of that, if everybody can create their own environment, then it's probably ephemeral. It's probably easy to spin up, and that's something you need to aim for. Like, creating a new environment to develop in should be scripted. And not everything has to be scripted. Like if you think about a database instance, for example, installing the database instance does not need to be part of the scripting. It can be, and depending on what you're doing, I might even recommend it, but it doesn't have to be. However, creating the database that your application is accessing, that should be easy and scripted. Same with a web server, deploying a completely new set of software to the web server is definitely what you want to do, what you want to be able to do. But you could even think about deploying that web server on a container on your machine. So just dropping the container and recreating a new one will create a clean environment for you easily. So aim for setting up this environment being scripted so that a new developer can easily do it and that existing developers can get a clean system every time they need to. In a shared environment, that is extremely difficult. In a shared environment, updates are generally scheduled. Like think about a database again. You might want to load that database with production data, and that happens once a week or so. And with that, any updates are difficult because, again, you might impact other people. And then the final thing is with your own environment, you should have full access. Like if you think about a database again, you might need sysadmin access, system admin access to do specific things like accessing performance counters and the like. And it is probably going to be harder for you to get full access on a shared environment. In most companies, access to shared environments is restricted, slowing you down if you need that access. So having an ephemeral environment where you can recreate the entire environment easily, where you have full access and where you can develop independent of everybody else, that is where you want to be. That is where you can be the fastest, where other people impact you the least, and vice versa. That is why I recommend that everybody has their own development environment, deployment environment, and it does not necessarily have to be local, but there are a few advantages to that too. And that is all I had for you today. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you liked what you saw, if you would like to see more content like this, please subscribe.